Request Jaibir, member of CICASA, to escort Sir onto the dais and present with a bouquet. CA Anand P Jangid is a chartered accountant, certified information system auditor, certified information system manager, and an APROVA certified professional. Sir's area of specialization includes governance, risk and compliance, enterprise risk management, project management, designing and implementation of regulatory compliance framework, IT governance and management audits. Sir is a subject matter expert in the field of business and IT controls and forensic audit and analytics. Sir is a managing partner at Anand and Anand Associates, a CA firm with focus in the area of forensic audit, IS audit and forensic analytics for audit and finance. Sir was part of the risk management team at Goldman Sachs, covering multiple audit across geography for different functions in the organization. Sir's area of specialization were Forex audit, DP audit, anti-money laundering, Basel II, DCP and operational risk. Prior to Goldman Sachs, Sir was with the ES Consulting Group at Infosys Technologies Limited, Bangalore. Sir has been involved in enterprise risk management, implementation and IT audit for many international projects at USA, UK, Japan, China, etc. Sir is a visiting faculty at the IIM Bangalore, teaching IS audit and fraud analytics. Sir has presented papers on enterprise risk management and IT controls at various national and international forums, and has conducted many international workshops on enterprise risk management. Sir was a member of subcommittee on information technology of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, Bangalore. Let's give a warm welcome to CA Anand P Jangid.
Okay, so very good morning everyone. Good morning. So good to see you guys here to have how to face the examinations, isn't it? That's the topic which was given, and I will be focusing on two of your favorite subjects, right? That's ISCA and ITSM, or IT basically. Why? Because, okay, so before I start, how many of you are like IPCC or inter students? Raise your hand. Okay. And how many of you are final year students? Final? Okay, good. Okay. So I thought I'd start with final first. Okay. And I think all of you are from old scheme or new scheme? Old scheme. Okay, good. So I'll actually try to focus more on that part and see how we can do. We'll start with final first, and then we'll go to IT. So I told, the moment I said your favorite subject, I know there was a smile on your face, because I know it's none of your favorite subject. This is the subject we hate the most. Okay, at just 1 minute I'll set up my machine. So I first thought I will have a complete PPT, and then I thought it would be a kind of death by PowerPoint. So instead of having that, I thought I would just focus on three main areas. First, what are the general issues we see as the examiner in especially IT and ISCA and IT paper, point number one. Point number two, what is our key focus area, how we should study for this subject, because it is a little different and many times this question is asked to me, why should we as CA study this? And third will be some of the selling features or important thing which we should remember in that. Okay, so that will be the part and parcel of my discussion, and we'll keep it interactive. Feel free to ask me any questions any point of time, interrupt me, no problem, that's good. So to start with, let's start with the final guys. Okay, so anyway, a few of them, so it's better we finish them first. Okay, now coming to the point on ISCA. Now if you see the term Information Systems Control and Audit, the term itself has a concept called audit, which means the fundamental of this subject is actually an auditing subject. And if anyone has gone through the study material of institute, which no one goes through, that is a big problem. I am 100% sure you can see, friends, that there are so much of reference to auditing material that you cannot just think of. So there are SA 315, SA 402, you name all the SAs which Pooja was talking about, they're all out there, because ultimately it's an audit. But what has changed, which I want to tell you, and why that whole subject came is, if you've gone through the definition of SA 315 of what is internal control, it clearly says internal control is nothing but policy, procedure, practices, organization structure put into place to help organization achieve its organized objective, manage the risk within risk appetite, and blah blah blah, preventive, detective, and corrective. Full stop. There is one more part which has been added in SA 315. If you go through the SA 315, it clearly says internal control includes IS control. So internal control are basically already encompassing IS control. And if our systems are not okay, we all know what happened. Nirav Modi case, right? It means it was the controls were missing. Don't you think so? And now the staff auditors are in problem. You guys are going to be a future chartered accountant. So don't you think you should understand that? Yeah, in the new scheme it has been added to the auditing material. So new scheme they have merged everything into that. But the point which I am trying to say is, it's an important area. And you can actually area of practice from that. So we need to be very, very sure about knowing this part. So that is the importance of this. Now coming to what are the common mistakes which happens. The first and foremost is, people never ever read institute material. Please don't do that. If you have actually seen, you can open up scanners, you can open up RTPs and everything, you will notice one very interesting thing. For all the papers which has come in examination, I am just talking about, let's say, last 5 attempts, I am not going too further. I just did the analysis for that. Last 5 attempts, 18 to 22 marks every year is directly coming from your study material and practice material. Directly. When I say directly, Control C, Control V. Okay? Now don't you think that 18 to 22 marks you should not be leaving on the table when it is coming out directly from the institute? And if you have, especially for final students, if you have noticed the case study questions which are coming, don't you think it is like coming from all corner of the books? It is very tough to predict or do a selective reading. So my suggestion would be, you still have time, please make sure that you read the institute material. Notes are good, you can take any faculty's note, no problem, but please do read the book once per week. Second thing, and this is the biggest challenge which we find, I am 100% sure all of you would spend a huge amount of time on these papers, IT and ISCA both. Yes or no? And then you may have given 300 hours. But what do you have to do in the 3 hours? Count on how much marks you get. Do you agree to that point, friends? Right? But here comes the problem. All of you have done very good, studied very well, remembered very well. But honestly, put your hand on your heart and tell me how many of you have written down the practice questions and tried to write it down the answers yourself and practice that part. And same questions, if you write 3 times, 3 answers will come or not. Yes. Agree? I was a CA student, I have done all those kinds kind of funny things also. Every time you write, you come 3 different answers. Now it requires that you need to practice. Very important. If I would say, if I ever get a chance to make a study plan for you, and as Pooja was telling, plans are like here, and actual performance is here, right? Agree or not, right? I am 100% sure when you started for your examination this time, I used to also do it. Like 4 months before, I'll make a nice chart paper, I'll bring. 1 hour, I'll make all the lines and everything. Morning, this time I'll wake up, this I'll do. Never ever. And then you think, oh God, it's not practical. At the end of the thing, you say it's not practical. But honestly, tell me, have you done or not? You see, this is 2 common things in all chartered accountant students. Like this is like the thing which bond us. You know what is that 2 things? First is, we'll make funny plans. And you know, have you seen some of the guys who will write accounting standard on the chart and all the thing, every day morning it should see. I used to also do all these funny things. Second thing is, every damn notes which we get, we'll photocopy and keep it. Whether we studied or not. Now honestly tell me, do you guys do it or not? Yeah? I also used to do it. It's like, this is in our DNA. If you are a CA student, you have to do it. If you don't do it, you are basically not a CA student. Okay? So, when you are doing it, also ensure that in our habits, we also include some of these things, which is very, very important thing. In ISCA perspective, you have to write. If you are not writing it, if you are not practicing by writing, forget it. Because I as examiner, I tell you what is the biggest problem. Some students will write, now I am teaching so I cannot be examiner, but when I was an examiner, if some people will write like this, point, someone has told them point wise. So they just say write the points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like you decide from yourself what is the answer it is. Are you getting a point? Now that is not the right point wise. When we are saying right point wise, it means you should write in 3 to 4 lines paragraph. You know, every of the points should be 2, 3 lines, 2, 3 lines, 1 paragraph, 2, 3 lines, second paragraph, 2, 3 lines. This is how you are going to present it. That is the expectation. Are you with me on this much? So never write only point. And second thing which happens is, it will be like a Mahabharata. Where it starts, where it ends, no one knows. Okay. Don't do that also. These are the 2 extremes I have seen. And you know what is the most funniest thing I have seen? Going by the handwriting, I think it is like some lady would have written it because guys don't have good handwriting ever. Okay. So there was one question which has come in ISCA which was on denial of service attack. Heard about this question? Denial of service attack is there in your chapter 3. And there, that person has connected denial of service attack with world peace. Are you getting a point? Where is denial of service attack? Where is world peace? Don't try to merge them together. I know we all write a little bit of blade and law subject. There is a, you know, the Kannada word blade hota hai. No? How many of you speak Kannada here? And blade, you don't know the word? You know, right? So don't write too much of blade. Okay, I would say your standard answer should have 3 parts. A little bit of introduction, quick introduction, small, short and sweet. Then your points, and then the conclusion. That should be the standard way you should be presenting it up, and that would make it all good. Are you with me on this much, friends? Okay. Now coming to the specifics. So any general, any question. Okay, one more thing which is very, very important for IT as well as for both students. Now I hope many of you know. How many of you have already written the examination once or twice? A couple of you are? Okay. Now, especially for IT students, ISCA will come. I am 100% sure you would have done something called flowchart, right? And second question, did you write the flowchart with a HB pencil or LR pencil? HB pencil? Are you aware that it is banned that you are not supposed to draw anything with pencil? If you put anything with pencil, 0 mark. How many of you are aware of this part? No? You are supposed to read the instruction which comes on the back of your admit card and the instruction which are there in your answer sheet which are given. Please never use pencil, ever. And I hope you know the new scheme, as Institute has said, black color pen. So make sure black color pen. Okay, don't then you have to go and borrow if someone don't have that problem. Or you can start a business. Like when you're going for examination, if you take 50 black pen, anyone doesn't have one color, you know, you can sell it for 1 for 100. Don't you think so? Demand and supply. I am 100% sure I will give you in writing. You would have people coming in the examination with blue pen. I am ready to bet with you. Okay? I happened with me also, so I'm telling you. Because that time you are so tense. Don't you think so in examination time? Well, I was laughing when Pooja ma'am said one very interesting thing. You should take a proper bath and all that thing. I said, yes, I used to skip my bath. Because that's true. Don't you think your mind is going, like, at least now, for friends, all of you, it's good. You have at least 1 day gap. When we used to have our final examination, 8 papers back to back. So can you imagine the kind of tension you will be there? So your friends, your family will not recognize you by 7th day because because of what Pooja ma'am said. Who has time to take a shower? Like it'll take you 20 minutes. 20 minutes I can cover one chapter. So that is the kind of thing. So but it's also important that we have a good sleep, and I think that's very much right what she said is required. Okay? Now I'll go to the specific of ISCA first, and then we'll come back to. So why I gave you this example of your pencil was, please, wherever possible, put some charts or workflow. Like if you know, there are a lot of, for ISCA I'm telling you, if you remember COBIT, there are principles of COBIT, there are 7 enablers of COBIT. If you write it down, you may write 1 or 2 lines, but it's better if you can actually put a proper one chart, small chart. It will give the examiner a feeling. And you should also understand, you have got 3 hours to impress that guy, isn't it? And that guy would be impressed within 20, like on average, every examiner will be spending around 20 to 30 minutes every paper, not more than that. Now 20 minutes if you have to impress it, it is like, have you heard about in, venture capitalists have something called this 2 minutes pitch, elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is like, you will get into the lift, you will have 2 minutes to give your idea. And if these guys are impressed, they are impressed. Now similarly, you have got 20 to 22 minutes to impress the examiner. So my request is, it is not just you are smart, you have to appear to be smart also, which means your presentations and everything has to be proper. Please do practice that. Okay? Now coming to the specific, this is paper 6, your information systems control and audit. Now here I would like to not go to the syllabus, I'll directly go to your 8 chapters. You should have given a study plan also, which no one reads. I know that no one has. I think most of you want to sell off your instrument material after your examination. That's why you don't make it dirty or something, right? Yes or no? No. Okay. Coming back. The first is chapter number 1. Never ever start with chapter number 1. For ISCA, never ever. Start with chapter number 2, because if you go into this chapter, you would, if anyone has problem with insomnia who cannot sleep in night, they will get sleep in this mode, okay? So don't do that. This chapter is a very heavy chapter because you need to understand this chapter is meant for something which is called as concepts. Because nothing is related here. It is like 1 point, 2nd point somewhere, 3rd point from somewhere, everything is unrelated. So the moment students read it, he said, oh, what the hell am I reading? I don't know, why I'm reading it. So don't start with that. I would say start with your chapter 2, information system. Again, this first 2 chapters are concept. If you see the name itself, it says concepts. So it is basically they are going to test you on the thought process of how it has to be done. Point number 1. Point number 2, in this chapter, they have only talked about different types of information systems and blah blah blah. If you can focus on that, it is good. Your main waterproof for all the students, which I think is chapter number 3. This is the only technical chapter and the longest chapter in your ISCA material. It is called protection of information system. So information security is there, information security policies are there. We have all this concept of preventive controls, internal controls, preventive, detective, corrective. Then we have all the concepts out there. So this is a chapter, friends, which is huge. And I would say, if you can concentrate on this chapter very well, you have a gift from Institute. What is the gift from Institute? You don't have to study chapter 6 properly. Which means a lot of things which is there in chapter, oh, this works, amazing. I have now a control. Okay, so The point is, if you actually use this one chapter properly, you can actually read only 8 pages of chapter 6 and skip the rest of the thing because it's a duplication. What are the duplication? All your controls, managerial controls and application controls. Whatever you are going to discuss it, IT general controls and application controls, it's basically what we call as duplication. Then moving forward, this is the chapter which will be also talking about two areas which are not connected. One part is coming in chapter 3, one part is coming in chapter 7. What is that? Cyber fraud and cyber forensic. This is one area, friends. Every examination you can expect a question because this area is increasing. Now that's a lot of frauds which are happening, and that's why there is a lot of talks going on that. Okay? Then come the simplest chapter, the best ROI chapter, which is called chapter 4, BCP. See the number of pages in BCP. It is actually, if you tell, only 27 pages. And how much marks come in examination? For the 27 pages, you can expect in examination easily close to around 12 to 16 marks. So don't you think it is like the best ROI, return on investment, by 27 pages? And this is one of the things, easy chapter which we can do. By the way, any idea why we should learn BCP? Huh? Chennai flood happened? No. No Chennai connection. Anyway, no covering water for Chennai. Yeah? You know that. That word is going on right now. So what do you think? Have you heard about a fundamental principle in accounting called going concern? Now what we mean by BCP is, don't you think it's important for us to know about going concern and you don't understand that? Have you seen this 9/11 which happened? Before 2000, no one knew about what is BCP. So every guy who works in the field of BCP, every day morning they do a udbatti in front of the photo of whom? Osama bin Laden. Because without him, we would not be studying this chapter. So it's an interesting chapter, fun chapter, and you should focus on that. Then comes chapter 5. Chapter 5 talks about, friends, your acquisition, development and implementation of information system. Now why is it important for us to know this thing? Why should chartered accountant know about this chapter? Anyone? Just because. Now tell me one thing, have you ever been paid twice for the same work? Anyone? For articleship, did your boss paid like 2 times? Because you are my article, plus you are. Anyone? For this audit, SDLC audit, you get paid twice. So don't you think all chartered accountants should be interested in this? So you get audited, you get basically paid first at the time of being a person, along with the system is being developed, you will be part of the thing. You are going to focus on internal controls are there or not. Second, there is something called as post-implementation review. And in this chapter, friends, I will tell you the most important thing we should all know is the 2 things are important. The complete SDLC cycle, which is the waterfall model, and system development methodology. What are the things which are there? If you remember, it's basically focusing on areas like prototyping, implemental. There is also something called spiral, which looks like jalebi kind of thing. All the things which are there, which we will be discussing. Okay, and then comes chapter 6. Now, chapter 6 is my favorite chapter because this is like a bonus chapter given by institute. It's like a pakka duplication, except for 2 things. There is something called as continuous auditing techniques, where we have to cover ITF and all the things. Apart from that, it is all basically duplication. So don't focus on that too much. And then chapter 7, this is where I want to give advice to all my friends here who are appearing for final. Please don't read this as a law chapter. Don't think this is like a GST Act or a Companies Act. Everyone read it there. If you see there, what is the term says? Information technology regulatory issue. And in this chapter, you will actually see something called as, there is every chapter of IT and ISCA has something very interesting. Have you seen like a material which is there of ISCA and IT? There is something different from all other material of institute. Is the paper quality good, bad, ugly? Not the paper quality. If you know, every chapter in ISCA and what we call as IT has something like this. Let me just show you quickly. This is SL. Okay, okay. Let me show it here. Okay. This is your information. It will have something called as task statement and knowledge statement. Okay. So every chapter would have a task and knowledge statement which need to be looked into, and that is the only thing which is different compared to any other chapter. So basically what I'm trying to say here is, friends, you need to be sure about this, okay? That, sorry, I'm actually changing something in between because the format changed. So what I'm trying to do is, you need to understand, where is that Adobe? This is called the problem. When I'm doing an IT, my system is only giving me a problem. Don't you think it's like fun thing? Oh, you're discussing IT and make your system not work only. Something like that. Got it. So, quickly friends. Yeah. This is what is difference in case of every ISCA material or IT material. They have given task statement and knowledge statement, and friends, you need to understand very clearly, task statements are important because questions are drafted around that. So you should know about this task statement. You will not find this task statement in any other material of institute, because here institute did a kind of a testing called Bloom's taxonomy of adult learning. It's a taxonomy which is there done. So it was an experiment, and that's a basic idea which you should all know. Okay? And then come chapter 8 of ISCA, which is, friends, what we call as your emerging technology. And there is only one thing which is very important there, which is cloud computing. And cloud computing is there for both IT guys also in the ISCA, in Intel or IPCC. So what is cloud computing? All of you know, right? You take your laptop, you take a parachute, you jump out of a plane, you are in the cloud, you are computing. No? Okay, it's more than that. So we will be discussing that has to be done. And cloud computing is important because every company is moving onto the cloud, and hence it's very important for you to cover it up. This is like a common topic for friends in IT as well as ISCA. Cloud computing, pakka, it's gone down. One question, like 8 marks is coming from the emerging technologies. Okay? And also one last thing, in chapter 7, please don't ignore all this. What are the requirement of ISO written under SETI, IRDA, all things. So that's all from our friends in fine. Let's go to the friends in IPCC. IPCC also, don't start with chapter 1. Chapter 1, how many of you have gone through it? If you go through chapter 1, friends, it's really, really dangerous. Okay? Don't start with chapter 1. Chapter 1, you do it in the last, no problem. Okay? It's all fine. Okay? Let me directly go into this. The content. So we have the first one, BPL. Okay. Now, I have my own grudge against Institute on this material. So, Institute has developed this material, something like, have you heard about this term called newspaper? Have you read sometime newspaper? So, you will see the newspaper and something, after the half news, they will say, refer to page number 11 for more of that. Okay. Now, this one is also, this book has been done. There are chapter 1, 2 and 5, which is like business process automation and business process management. The whole concept is there, a lot of things which is there, and it is all structured. If you read chapter 2, you will see the first thing they start in chapter 2 is cloud computing, and then say, oh, you refer less in the chapter 5. Have you seen it? Right? Okay, if you have not seen it, please start doing and reading your book. So it has been very badly designed, but we can actually do it. I would say start with section chapter 2. That should be your information system life cycle and other thing. All the computing technology will be there. And then, friends, you should, this is the chapter which I would highly recommend you to read second, which is telecommunication and network. Here, this is the only chapter which is technical. So people get very bored. Why I am reading it? There are a lot of pages which are unnecessary there, but my point is that you should know how to read this chapter. I'm sure you have already done it, one thing. And this chapter is important. Just like chapter 3 is important there, chapter 3 is very important here, because you will get a lot of questions coming in this out there. And you have to be understanding many concepts which are there. For the new scheme, the e-commerce itself is a separate chapter where a lot of discussions happen, and we need to. After you have done chapter 3, I would say you should go to chapter 1 and do all the other stuff, which is BPA, which is business process automation, business process management. And if you remember, in business process automation, there are just 8 steps which are there. 8-step approach, which is discussed, only the base is given there, and is discussed further in something called as where? Chapter 5. So you should know the differences which are there, and please don't do the silly mistake which many of the students do. If the question is come on the steps of BPA, people give the critical pillar of BPA, which is nothing but orchestration, integration and all things. Don't do this silly mistake. Read the question carefully. If the question is asking about something else, give out that. This is also which is happening in chapter 3. There is something called as what are the different types of transmission mode, transmission types, and people give all mix up answers. Please don't do that. This is like after working so hard, you are getting confused in examination. That doesn't make sense. So read your question carefully and go for it. That would be a good thing. So business information system, I would say you come to this later. Go to chapter 1, and in chapter 1, your flow chart is an important thing. Okay? Institute has become very smart. Institute thought our students are taking advantage of us because we are becoming predictable. Now, if you see the question paper which are coming from the last 3 attempts, can you guess what is the next time the question is going to come from? It's becoming very unpredictable. Are you sure? No, don't say we don't know, otherwise also. No, you don't know. But it is becoming very unpredictable because earlier we used to have 10 marks flow chart. Then suddenly it became 8 marks. Then they said, okay, 4 marks. Then they again bring 8 marks. Then again they get 10 marks. So it can be very changed. But flow charting we have to do. That is a mapping of system. And in flow chart, please, please, please. This is the biggest mistake which all the students do. In flow charting, what they do is, they will basically just make the flow chart and say, bye bye, see you. And they expect that 8 marks. No one is going to give you 8 marks for that. You have to have 3 steps in every flow chart. First, give an introduction that what is the flow chart you are doing, what are the assumptions and how you are going to solve it. Assumptions are very important. Just like your costing, please give your assumption. And I hope you know the term CAWL, clear all working location. This clear all working location, never write CAWL. Give the complete abbreviation somewhere. If any abbreviation is used, that is first thing. Second thing, you should give steps of your flow charts. And then you should make your flow chart. If you do that much, friends, I can assure you out of 8 marks, you can be guaranteed of 7 marks, 6.5 to 7 marks. Otherwise, be ready to only get 3 marks, bye-bye. That is the maximum you can accept. So why should you leave it on the table when the marks is coming when you work hard? And have you got the institute material 2014? There's a compilation of all the flowcharts. Some 30 flowcharts are there. Have you gone through it? If not, please go and download that. There are 30 flowcharts which has come in examination, and it's a compilation. Please solve all the 30 without fail. That you have to mandatorily do it. Got my points? Okay. Then we go to chapter 4, where again we are talking about something interesting. Things like types of information system, where we have MIS, DSS and all blah 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 stuff, which all of you know. But I am more interested in a topic which I think questions will come, which is artificial intelligence and expert system. This is an area which is being up now. So you should prepare well for that, friends, and do that. And finally, we'll go to chapter 5. Chapter 5 is the closing chapter. All the thing, wherever the lines were there, all has come and settled down there. So you have something on controls in BPA, you have something on cloud computing, you have on business process automation 8 steps, all the things come here. So this is how you should be doing it. Now, I finished the first 2 parts, and now I'll give you some selling feature. First point, when you are writing this examination, please, 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 do one thing which is very important. Write and practice. Your approach should be like this. First, both for ISCA and IT. First, your step is finish the study material one shot. Second, finish your practice manual. You can do it along with that also, every chapter, every practice manual. Third, I would like you to make sure, always ensure that you finish 4 RTP compulsorily. Which are the 4 RTP? If you are writing the examination in this May 16, November 16, May 17, November 17. This one I am not even counting the latest one. I am just talking about the last 4 RTPs. You have to write and solve. Again I am insisting, you have to write and solve. Please do that. And after that, if you have some time left, my request would be just do a kind of a revision from any notes or in the same material, you can go through it. That should be enough. If you can do this much, friends, no one can stop you from acquiring at least 60 marks in this paper. And that's what you all are trying to do it, right? That should be it. And last thing, presentation. Please make sure your presentations are good. Right, I'm not talking about handwriting. My handwriting is worse than your handwriting, okay? I never got that 5 marks for good handwriting. Never. Since my class 1, okay? But the way you present is the structure I'm talking about. Your structure should be good. Okay? So that's all for my time. I have time till 12 o'clock. And then we have tea break also, so tea is important, right? So any questions you have, you can ask me now. Any questions, any doubt, feel free. Or it should be good. Never, sir. Pencils are strict no-no, because I'll tell you why it is strict no-no. Examiners has been given a kind of a strict instruction. If anything has been written with pencil, ignore it. No marks to be given for it. That's the reason I'm still telling you. Never. You may think, oh, I wrote so well and I didn't get marks. The reason was this. Because pencil, if you're writing it up, it doesn't get it. Okay? Great. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the chapter-wise in-depth details of what to study, what not to study, and how to approach this particular study material. I now request Ram Prasad to present sir with a memento.